Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling, the major league of professional wrestling seen around the world and across the nation. This edition coming to you directly from downtown Dallas, Texas at the beautiful Reunion Arena, World Class Championship Wrestling. And we have a tremendous main event. The American Heavyweight Championship is on the line. It's Rick Rude, that ravishingly wonderful Rick Rude and his manager Percy Pringle III as they defend against the former champion, Iceman King Parsons of St. Louis. And that's going to be a dandy main event. We'll also see the handsome Lance Von Erich, cousin of Kerry, Kevin, and Mike. All this on World Class Championship Wrestling. So stick around. We've got excitement for you. And we'll be right back with our first bout.
The excitement begins, ladies and gentlemen, with our first bout. One fall, 20-minute time limit. This is a tag team event. I present first the man wearing the mask from Minnesota, 250 pounds, the Grappler. His teammate from points unknown at 245 pounds, the Missing Link. Their manager is with them in the ring, Percy Pringle. Percy Pringle III, I beg your pardon. Behind me, their opponents stand. First from Kansas City, 265 pounds. Welcome to the ring, David Peterson. And his teammate from Montague County, 235 pounds, Johnny Mantell. Rick Hazard to officiate the bout.
Beautiful Reunion Arena here in downtown Dallas, Texas. And this is World Class Championship Wrestling, our opening event. What a tremendous card we have. The American title is on the line. Rick Rude versus the Iceman King Parsons, from whom he took the title. Whoop, here comes the Iceman. Just the Link. The Link coming by here. And you just don't know when he might headbutt Mark Lawrence and the viewer here. So the Link is out there with Percival Pringle III. There's another individual who has certainly burst on the scene with a great deal of enthusiasm and has suddenly proved a lot of things he said in our first interview with him, as the Link comes around now, and we get this bout on the way between David Peterson and Johnny Mantell, and the Missing Link and the Grappler, who is unbeaten so far in World Class Championship Wrestling. You know, being unbeaten, whether you're the Chicago Bears or whomever you may be in these days of sports, is quite unusual. And the Grappler, big guy from Minnesota, 245 pounds, opening up with another 245-pounder from Montague County, true Texan, Johnny Mantell. What a wonderful crowd on hand, a huge, huge crowd on hand, this Reunion Arena, this magnificent structure. It's going to be the scene of the Final Four in basketball next year. Johnny Mantell said, hey, oh, he's going after Percival Pringle III, I guess. Or just kind of like a beagle after a rabbit. He's just kind of making him take off a little bit.
Hey, referee!
Oh, great move by David Peterson coming up from behind. And they've got the Grappler all whacked up here as the Missing Link suddenly says, hey, wait a minute. I think one of those guys is mine.
What's wrong, Grappler? He's just using his fist, man. He's using his fist, referee. That's a violation of the rules, man. He's using his fist.
Well, Percival Pringle is quoting verse and scripture on rules and regulations right now. David Peterson and Johnny Mantell combined with a nice bit of other, I guess you call it, a little bit of skullduggery there, as they gave the Grappler a what for, and Missing Link wonder what in the world is going on. Well, the holiday season is upon us in all its glory and wonders and warmth and friendship. And right away, we start thinking about the Christmas spectacular. Now, David Peterson. David Peterson, he of the great body, well built. And he goes up against the Grappler now. And Johnny Mantell said, we're going to stand around here all day with our hands in our ear. The grappler backs off. This must be one of Pringle's ploys right here.
Yes. You can beat him. I have no doubts about that. Kick it in now. Kick it in.
Well, Pringle is like all coaches. Of course, you can beat him, or managers, or seconds, or whatever it may be. Now the big question here on who is the stronger, and Peterson with those tremendous muscles rippling, forcing the grappler down. Yeah, the Christmas Spectacular coming up at Reunion Arena. And we'll feature, as part of that fantastic explosion, the one-man gang against Bruiser Brody. Ooh, what a miss by grappler. Up and over by Peterson. May do it. Pin him, 1, 2, no, didn't quite do it. And Pringle is a puddle of upset over there.
You can beat him, grappler.
Not only is the one-man gang going after Bruiser Brody, but they're going to have to go after each other rather closely aligned because they're going to be chained together. The Christmas Spectacular Reunion Arena. Somehow chained together is not a Christmas thought, but then that's what these two huge men, these behemoths of the wrestling world, will be wrapping each other. Here comes the exchange now with David Peterson and Johnny Mantell. Side move, nice move by John. Count of 2 on the shoulder. Now the grappler rolls up Mantell. See if Mantell has anything to say about what was pulled or not. Like trunks? Yeah, looked like he had a trunk. And grappler's using the bottom rope. And Peterson is trying to help the referee on this one.
He's not pulling his tape. He's pulling lines.
Percy Pringle getting a word in. Mantell gets a count on him. Peterson gives advice. And the grappler has his leg on the bottom rope. And here comes the missing link around the corner.
What are you doing over here?
Percy Pringle is kind of upset about it. And the link doesn't seem to mind much of anything.
Hey, referee.
Mantell, oh, what a boom.
You're not doing
What
your
a
job
bump.
properly.
And those two really went together. And Mantell is the sufferer more than the grappler, who comes right back in. We have not seen the link in here yet. But the unbeaten grappler, a man of consummate skill. He is one of those who has all the, I guess you would call him the man of 500 moves, because there must be that many. Left, and across the right hand, and that, of course, is boxing. But the grappler can do it all, and he can add the tough stuff like that. David Peterson trying to get a hand out to his partner, Johnny Mantell. There's a fist on the top of the forehead, and Percy Pringle, in the meanwhile, is having trouble with the link, telling him just what to do.
Going into his head.
Pringle is setting it up so that Mantell will be thrown into the link's head, but instead it is Mantell who turns it around, and the grappler's head is bashed into the link. And the link looks at Pringle like he's an absolute idiot. Well, the link can't do anything about that. Here comes the link in now, deciding to do something else. But he is not an official in this one, and now it's going to be double buck. And the link noticed that something unusual might have happened. The grappler knows it happened. He's falling out on the floor. But the link is just kind of disturbed, like a mosquito biting. Well, back to that Christmas Spectacular, because Christmas is just a step away once you pass Thanksgiving. And not only will one-man gang and Bruiser Brody be on hand, but also the Japanese heavyweight champion of Japan, Antonio Inoki.
Yeah, go ahead and laugh.
Known also, of course, for the time that he battled Muhammad Ali. Now the link is tapped on the head by the grappler. And the link looks at his partner. The partner points to the middle of the ring. And the link pats the grappler on the head. And Pringle is in a, well, he's turning red in the face because the link is kind of standing around wondering about that pat to the forehead. Maybe he thought that was a love pat. Still looking back to the corner. The link is really something. He is missing something up there. No doubt about it. Somewhere along the line, whether in some other age, the Link hands Peterson to Grappler, and Grappler wraps him a couple of shots. But at times the Link really demonstrates some thinking ability. At other times you wonder if he can really cross the ring from here to there. But David Peterson's wondering now what happened to him. Here's David into the corner buckle. The Link does like to bang heads. That seems to be his greatest desire, just to bang somebody's head. He does it to himself, he does it with other people, and he's really having a lot of fun right now. You might think he was of that ancient race of Celts. Painted their bodies blue, and his is green with a little blue trim. Maybe he is a salamander background or something. As he bashes into that shoulder now with his head. Everything principally coming with the head, but now the Link is coming in with his fierce strength locked into the left shoulder of David Peterson. Well, this excited, wild crowd, not all Texans. We had a young fellow from Minnesota come all the way down from the Minneapolis area. Some folks from Boston. And now the Grappler is in, and he is smashing Peterson, and now the Link is still in there, and still headbutting, and still driving, and now Mantell is in. And the Link is butting like a demented bull out there. So the missing Link coming to the side as the Grappler has David Peterson in tow, and up and over. Oh. And Peterson is shaken. A lot of dignitaries, speaking of the fact that there are people here from all over. Wow, look at the Grappler work on Peterson. Folks from all over the country have come in for this big event. And several dignitaries. Whoa, great flying body slam. 1, 2, but not enough for 3. The Grappler rolls out of it. Wrestling dignitaries from Japan and England, South America, the Mideast. So we have all those on hand around the ring watching this important event, this event of events. Missing Link is back in, the 5th annual. Spectacular here at Reunion Arena. And David Peterson trying to get away is caught again by the Link. Peterson needs some respite from this, and he needs to get to Johnny Mantell if he can. However, the missing Link has him in tow at the moment. And the Link has him in. Whoa! Into that corner buckle, and Peterson will make it to Johnny Mantell. And now there's fresh blood in, and Mantell goes to work. And the Link is the one who takes a shot, and the Grappler gets a shot. And the Grappler is the official one in there now, as the Link has enough presence of mind to make an exchange, and the Grappler is in the hands of Johnny Mantell, who is fierce and really out of whack. The Link is all wrapped up in the rope right above us. David Peterson is over here. All that's going on while Johnny Mantell puts a 1, but not enough for 2 on the Grappler. Mantell driving the Grappler. And speaking of dignitaries, gentlemen who Mike Von Erich can owe so much, and the sleep hole of Johnny Mantell. Dr. Bill Sutker, the Baylor Medical Center, and his staff on hand here at Reunion Arena as they witness this great event, world-class championship wrestling at the Reunion Arena. Now the Grappler made it to the ring, to the ropes, and he is in, of course, an automatic break. Mantell right on top of him. Dr. Sutker, who spent time working with Mike Von Erich during his illness. Great move by the Grappler coming off the ropes. 1, 2, and 3, and the Grappler coming off the ropes with a clothesline of Mantell, and he wraps him up for the win. Let's go to Mark Lowrance.
The tag team winners of the match, the grappler and the missing link.
So Percival Pringle is especially happy as his man, the grappler, remains unbeaten. A fantastic wrestler. An amazing personality along with the missing link. And we'll be back with Lance Von Erich in a battle next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
Let's go. Dressing room, Link. Dressing room.
Like his cousin Kevin, he is barefoot. Who? I didn't hear him. Oh, Killer Brooks and Lance Von Erich. Killer Tim Brooks, the killer of renown, who will like to shake hands with this handsome young man and may do a double cross job. I don't know if I'd trust him or not. Lance Von Erich studying with his cousin, studying with his uncle. And what did I tell you? You get a double cross, you get it. Watch him. Killer Tim Brooks going after Lance Von Erich, the new sensation of World Class Championship Wrestling. Bang in the corner, and Lance is shaken. Killer Tim Brooks popping away, but Lance getting a second wind here as Brooks has jumped in with a sneak attack. And Killer Tim Brooks taking advantage of every opportunity, choking inside now. A miss. Line drop kick. And Lance Von Erich takes off on Killer Tim Brooks. And shows his ability here as quick and strong. Moving on top. 1, 2, and not enough for 3 as Brooks gets that shoulder up. Tim Brooks rapping, and so is Lance Von Erich. Banging each other here in this bout. Killer Tim Brooks has had a long history of problems with the Von Erichs. Here's a full, no, not quite a full Nelson. It looked like it was going into it. Now Lance Von Erich coming back after Tim Brooks jumped him on the opening moments. Lance Von Erich now living out of Dallas. Killer Tim Brooks just south of here at Waxahachie, a lovely community known for its Victorian-style homes. And a semi-sleep hold that has put Tim Brooks down and out. That's just a different way of putting that hold in, and Brooks shaken, rattled, and the winner is Lance Von Erich. Here's Mark Lowrance.
Winner of the match by submission, Lance Von Erich.
So the winner is Lance Von Erich, putting a sleep hold in, and we'll be back with more excitement on World Class Championship Wrestling, the American title next. Next week on World Class Championship Wrestling from the Reunion Arena in Dallas, it's Kevin and Kerry Von Erich in the cage against Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez, the match we've been looking for, right here in a steel cage for the American Tag Team Championship. There'll be special referees on hand, as Terry Gordy and Iceman King Parsons will be on hand to keep everybody honest. All 4 men in the ring at the same time. As you know, the belt is currently held up, but Kevin Von Erich and Kerry Von Erich will be attempting to put that belt around their waist as they meet Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams right here on World Class Championship Wrestling. And we'll be right back with the American title match on World Class Championship Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, world-class main event for the American Heavyweight Championship. One fall, 60-minute time limit. I will present the defending champion first. From the state of Minnesota, weighing 253 pounds, Ravishing Rick Rude. Holding the American belt is his manager, Percival Pringle III.
That's right. The best in the
Challenging for the American title. From St. Louis, 235 pounds, the Iceman, King Parsons. Bronco Lubitsch, your referee.
Iceman King Parsons and Ravishing Rick Rude and the manager Percival Pringle III in the American Heavyweight title match here at World Class Championship Wrestling at Reunion Arena. Back at Reunion Arena for the Christmas Spectacular. A lot of folks have come in and stayed at the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is right across the street. They had a special rate for this event, and they'll have a holiday event rate for Christmas too. Whoa, look at that. Look at
Why
that
don't you just shut up?
well-proportioned and
What's wrong with you people?
American steel body of Rick Rude. I love those tights. Somehow they don't quite fit the character, and yet they do, don't they? I mean, I guess a guy who looks like that can wear anything he wants to. But they certainly are
Do your best,
tights
man.
of many colors.
I know you can teach it.
Percival Pringle giving a little encouragement to Rick Rude, as every coach and manager would do. I'd like to mention, too, as we go back to the opening of our event on World Class Championship Wrestling, that Gary Holder, who sang God Bless the USA in the opening, is the chaplain of World Class Championship Association and the only wrestling association with its own official chaplain. Makes it rather unique. Oh, Rude with a big swing. While in this concrete floor. And Percy Pringle just a little bit upset as Rude threw himself with a great blast at Iceman King Parsons, threw himself into the seats out there. And there is Dr. Bill Sittker.
I'm behind the pole. He can't see me.
He of the Baylor Medical Center, and he the man who around the clock worked with Mike Von Erich, helped save his life in his most dramatic moment. Forearm smash by Rick Rude. And Iceman King Parsons making a great move, and Rick Rude is really having a problem here. Threw himself over the top rope. Now Iceman is all over him. And if you want to really get a man keyed up and ready to go, just get Iceman a little bit agitated. Yes, sir, that Christmas Spectacular. For folks even in the Dallas area, staying at the Hyatt Regency would be an experience. That's one of the most glamorous, exciting hotels in the world. And of course, the Christmas Spectacular is glamorous and exciting with Bruiser Brody. Check it, look at Iceman. He had Rick Rude just running back and forth across the ring while he nonchalantly waited for him to stop. Oh, Rude. Rudely handled by Iceman King Parsons.
You better watch him, referee. He pulled his tight. He picked him up by the tights and brought him down on his face.
Well, Pringle is complaining, but Rick Rude is hurting.
He's trying to injure his spine. He's trying to injure his spine. I know what he's doing. He pulled his tight.
Percival Pringle is
Shut up.
agitated. Really agitated.
If I have my way about it. Yes.
Percy Pringle, surprised everybody, I guess, when he came to town and started making a lot of wild assertions.
He's trying to get me.
Well, he's been pretty well true. Even before he got here, Rick Rude won the American title.
I can't believe it.
Then he came in and signed up the missing link. And Rick Rude has maintained an unbeaten record. A lot of excitement. Speaking of the holidays of Christmas, Fans in San Antonio having a Christmas holiday spectacular.
Don't let him get you.
San Antonio, a lovely city. I look forward to all the excitement of the World Class Championship Wrestling
Hold him, Rick.
around the holidays, around Christmas.
Oh, no. Come on, referee.
Right now we're in the American Heavyweight title match. And the champion with the multicolored tights. Just doing a little hair pulling and talking to Percy Pringle, who got the attention of Bronco Lewis long enough that he could pull hair. He being Rick Rude to put
I've got
Iceman
the
King
brains. He's
Parsons
got
down
the
at the
power.
point where he is right now with that
That's
chin
all
lock.
it takes, baby. Ask him, Lubitsch. Ask him to give it up.
Percival Pringle probably puts on more of the conversation than anyone, maybe not quite as much as Jim Cornette did when he was in here. But Pringle is a talker
These people are fixing.
from
These people are
Alabama,
fixing to
from
start out
Mobile.
hollering.
He is
Here
a
they
talker.
go. Come on, Rick. Don't worry about the people.
Underneath is
Hang in there,
Iceman,
baby.
whacking
Don't
away.
worry about the fans. Hang in there, Rick.
Fighting
Hold
underneath
him,
with his
hold
left
him.
arm. And down again goes Iceman, and the count is on by Bronco now for that hair pull.
He's getting pulled his hair.
Rick Rude. He had the tremendous physique. Rude, rudely handling now Iceman King Parsons. Rick Rude's
That's the way. That's the way.
finishing hold is called the Rude
Wear him
Awakening.
down now.
We had
You're fantastic.
asked him about the fact that it looked like the old
You're
DDT, but he had
fantastic. I know
refined
you
it.
do. You're
And he
fantastic.
calls it the Rude Awakening.
You're fantastic. He ain't going nowhere. So why don't you
Percy
get out
the
there?
Third. Rick Rude, he's doing the work. Percy's doing the talking. Next week on World Class Championship Wrestling, we've got that great American Tag Team Championship, the cage match. Kevin and Kerry Von Erich against Gino and Chris. They'll be in the cage. Iceman banging underneath now on Rick Rude. Breaks it. Let's watch him rotate here. Boy, does Rude get up in the air. Great move by Iceman. Hooked him, dragged him, and Rick Rude has to retreat a bit to protect his back. Not only will Kevin and Kerry, Chris and Gino be in that cage match for the American Tag Team Championship, but also
You bunch of liars.
Scott Casey and Hollywood John Tatum. They'll be battling in there with Missy and Sunshine. The two gals will be in there, and all sorts of fur could fly in that battle. Now Rick Rude takes over the bit of the action again. Ah,
I don't go for your own medicine, Ice boy.
and a little atomic drop on him, works up again. Here comes Rude. Look out for that. Oh, drive into the back. Pounded in the small of the back. Leg over the bottom rope, and Iceman King Parsons is back again. Rude is driving his right fist, right arm into the body of Iceman on those falls. And using every convenient
All right, you got him going now.
accoutrement
Don't
to
let
pull
up.
him back.
Don't let him rest.
Hair, trunks, anything. So Rick Rude putting on the pressure on Iceman King Parsons, and he continues to keep the pressure on. Forearm smashes, body smashes, small of the back. Rick Rude going to work on Iceman King Parsons. Rick Rude, the American champion, wanting to maintain
Now
that
count
one.
him. Come on,
But not
referee,
enough for
that was a
two.
Clear 3 count.
Now reversing on the chin, pulling back, stretching the body. Rick Rude. And the crowd picks up a chant.
Hold him, Rick. Hold him.
Percy Pringle wants Bronco Lewis to ask Iceman if he wants to give up.
Hold on to him.
That's one
Yes.
thing he might as
Yes.
well not waste his time. Oh, look at that move. Pringle hits the deck. Rick Rude catapulted out by Iceman King Parsons. Rude is back. Iceman trying to recover, and Rude's right back on top
That's
of
the
him.
way we like it.
Now he got an abdominal body stretch.
Stretch him, Rick.
Iceman, he's all right. He's hanging in. Hurting, but holding on. Yeah, Rude has the trunks down on the side there. Bronco Lubich taking a look, just missed it. Right back again, pulling the trunks again.
Don't let the ref catch you, Rick. Beautiful, beautiful. Don't let the ref catch you.
Rick also has
Tight,
one of
tight, tight.
piece of Iceman's hair in his hands, pulling him back with one side and then the other.
All you gotta do is ask him.
So he has stretched him out. The abdominal stretch. And a good move by Iceman, trying to recover now as he gets rid of Rude for a moment. Iceman, doesn't have much chance to recuperate. Rick Rude moving again with a bear hug and put those strong, sinuous arms around him. Tugging away, tugging away. Rick Rude trying to defend his American Heavyweight Championship.
Now he's in trouble.
Speaking of Christmas and the holidays, folks down at Austin, the capital city of Texas, there's a Christmas holiday spectacular coming your way. The world-class championship wrestling. A headbutt by Iceman King Parsons. That's got Rude kind of shattered for a second. Hit the Iceman up. Nice kick. Let's see if he can move on in and take advantage. Good knee lift to the head. Rick Rude now shaking up, and the Iceman is shaking it. Iceman got all the rhythm going now. Up and over. Iceman back to work. Iceman King Parsons with another headbutt. Jabbing, jabbing, and now crossing. That's the move that Iceman loves to make, that right, and then the left cross. Rick Rude from Minnesota. Look out, here's the Iceman from St. Louis, missing. And Iceman's in a lot of pain now as he missed on that flying body attempt. A roll-up by Rude, 1, 2, 3, and Rick Rude defends his American Heavyweight Championship.
What did I tell you, baby? What did I tell you?
Rick Rude takes advantage of an Iceman mistake, and here is Mark Lowrance.
Defending his American Heavyweight title, ravishing Rick Rude.
There he is, the American Heavyweight Champion, defending it successfully here on World Class Championship Wrestling. Percy Pringle is all agitated. He's kind of like acting like a matador out there. Whoop, there goes Pringle. Iceman wrapped him. Now Rude comes after him, and the battle goes to the floor. Look out.
Nobody hits me, baby.
Iceman taunted by Percy Pringle. Oh, there he did that Rude awakening into the concrete floor. And Bronco Lubich is furious. Smashing Iceman King Parsons' forehead into the concrete floor. And good night, that could really be a dangerous move. Percy Pringle and Rick Rude being shoved away by Bronco Lubich. We'll be back to tell you more about World Class Championship Wrestling in just a moment. Well, as you notice, they're still working on Iceman King Parsons on ringside. We've come back to talk to Percival Pringle III, manager of the still American Heavyweight Champion, Rick Rude. Gentlemen, a good victory, but was it necessary to try to kill Iceman King Parsons down on the concrete floor?
Let me tell you what, anyone that touches my manager deserves at least what King Parsons got, and he's lucky. Is he out of there yet?
Yeah,
Have they
he's out.
drug him out of there yet?
Yeah, dragged
He's
him.
lucky that that's all he's got. Nobody lays a hand on my manager. This man isn't a professional wrestler. He's my manager. I stepped in the ring to do battle with Iceman King Parsons. My manager wasn't involved in that one bit.
Well,
You
he
saw
was
what
taunting.
happened.
He was taunting Iceman, weren't you? You were
Oh,
showing
you don't
him-
worry about it. You just listen to what the champion's got to say.
Hunting big,
I'd like to get the
big
facts
deal.
right.
Sticks and stones break my bones, but names ain't gonna hurt nobody. My manager didn't lay a hand on Iceman Parsons.
He's a very prideful man, though, when you stick that championship belt in front of him. He's trying to do that.
So
What
what?
are you just taunting
so
him?
what? He is the ex-champion,
That's
Mr.
right.
Mercer. And I hate to be the one to say I told you so, America. I hate to be the one to say I told you so, world. But this is the American champion. And excuse him for being three-time arm wrestling champion. Excuse him for being Florida heavyweight champion. Excuse him for being half of the United States tag team champions, Mr. Mercer. You're not dealing with nobodies. You're dealing with the new thing in wrestling. You're dealing with Ravishing Rick Rude. You're dealing with Percy Pringle. And tonight, Mr. Mercer, was only a small example of what I have in my bag of tricks for you.
All right, can you tell us some more then?
I'm not going to tell you nothing. Why have you always got to ask questions? Can't you just wait?
Why I'm
and
here.
Let me. Well, the reason I'm here is to take care of my man, and I'll tell you what I want you to know when the time is right. Ain't that right, Rick?
That's
All right,
right.
tell us what's in store for Rick Rude then. What
Hey.
next championship?
It doesn't matter. Whoever steps in that ring with me is going to get hurt. But you know, whoever it is, you can walk away holding your head up, just a beaten man. But don't touch my manager, or you'll end up on a stretcher ride, just like King Parsons did.
You think you would give King Parsons another shot at the championship?
King Parsons, he's going to be down for a long time. I think I heard him whimpering something about retiring while he was laying there, tears running down his face.
No, you didn't fit. You didn't use your Rick Rude awakening in the ring. You used it on the concrete floor.
And it worked even better.
So
didn't it?
what? We're the champions. We're always going to be the champions. Keep an eye on us, baby.
Welcome to World Class Championship Wrestling, the Major League of Professional Wrestling seen around the world and across our nation. Right here, this edition of World Class Championship Wrestling coming to you from downtown Dallas at the beautiful Reunion Arena. And we have a tremendous sort of double main event for you, both in cages. You're going to see Scott Casey, and he'll be battling Big John Tatum with Missy and Sunshine in the ring in a steel cage. And then the real main event is Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams. They now wearing the mask against Kerry and Kevin Von Erich. That for the American Tag Team Championship with two special referees, Terry Gordy and Iceman King Parsons. All this and much more right here from Reunion Arena in Dallas on World Class Championship Wrestling. And we'll be right back.
We welcome welcome our television audience from around the world back to Reunion Arena for World Class Championship Wrestling's 5th annual Thanksgiving Turkey Day Spectacular. All matches are sanctioned by the World Class Wrestling Association. Bronco Lubitsch, David Manning, and Rick Hazard are your officials. This bout, a battle of the giants, one fall, 30-minute time limit. To my left, from Chicago, Halsted Street, 487 pounds, the indestructible one-man gang. His opponent tonight, a giant, a savage from the jungles of Uganda, weighing better than 350 pounds, Kamala, the Ugandan giant. At his side, his manager, the General Skandor Akbar. Bronco Lubitsch, your referee.
Well, a familiar scene here of Skandor Akbar, the general, back with his huge Ugandan Kamala. And away we go with the Chicagoan and the Ugandan. And there's certainly no missing which one is which, as the Ugandan giant is painted up and shows us his unusual style, and certainly the one-man gang has his own. The gang out of Chicago. So the behemoth back there is 857 pounds bouncing around that ring. And Kamala pounding away on the one-man gang. Our opening bout on this edition of World Class Championship Wrestling. The Ugandan giant. He has the upper hand now on the one-man gang. Let me tell you, too, that in this great holiday season, we look forward to other great moments and events, and we look forward to the Christmas Spectacular here at Reunion Arena. A Christmas Spectacular that exceeds anything we have seen in the past. As Rick Rude, the American champion, defends his championship, the American title. The one-man gang right there who is giving it what ho to Kamala.
That's what
the one-man gang will be chained with Bruiser Brody. And that'll be another big battle. Plus the Japanese heavyweight champion, Antonio Inoki, will also be on hand. That and many more, those and many more bouts of the great Christmas Spectacular here at Reunion Arena. As Kamala chops and pounds and whoa, decks Bronco Lubitsch, and out goes the one-man gang. And if Bronco could possibly wave that off, Kamala might very well be disqualified now. Bronco Lubitsch going outside the ring, and Skandor Akbar. Those big men out here battling. A one-man gang, and he's going after an empty chair. One of the few in the building, and now Kamala and the gang and Skandor battling on the side of the ring. Bronco Lubitsch trying to straighten things out. I guess by the matter of the fact that it is Kamala that he decided he would let that blow go. Probably didn't understand all the rules, but Kamala hammering on and banging on the one-man gang.
Von Erickson, huh? Where you carry? Come on, Kevin.
One-man gang taking a shot, standing there ready to take another one. Woo! There's 800 pounds colliding. Colliding again. And again as they battle toe-to-toe. And Bronco Lubitsch for the second time is down. And now the bell is going to be rung. Now it's all over. Let's see if they're going to disqualify everybody. Which one gets disqualified? One-man gang back for the change. And it looks like this battle is going to take place outside the ring if Bronco can stop it. Kamala trying to escape. Here's Mark Lawrence with the decision.
Bronko Lubich, the referee, has disqualified both men, no winner.
So Kamala and the one-man gang have been disqualified. And we'll be back with the Texas title match next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
This match is for the Texas heavyweight title. One fall, 45-minute time limit. First of all, on my left, the challenger from New Jersey, weighing 255 pounds, Jack Victory. And the current Texas heavyweight champion from Arlington, weighing 243 pounds, the popular Brian Adias. The referee is Bronko Lubich.
And this is for the Texas Heavyweight Championship, Brian Adias. An exciting young man from Arlington, Texas, longtime friend of the Von Erichs from childhood days. Learned his basics in wrestling from the Von Erichs. He and Jack Victory met at the Cotton Bowl this past early fall. And that match, in a spinning step over toe hold, Victory's knee went out. He had to have an operation. He's back, and he says he wants revenge from Brian Adias. He wants that Texas championship, but he also wants to beat Brian. Well, Brian Adias is one of the most exciting young men in the wrestling ring today. Brian Adias. And the heartthrob of New Jersey, as Jack Victory likes to call himself, had a hard time with Brian Adias, but he drives in those knees and has Brian on the roll, and then Brian gets him right back, hooks him beautifully. Reunion Arena here in downtown Dallas, Texas. Reunion, home of the Dallas Mavericks and scene of the Final Four in basketball and college ranks next year. A beautiful place. And we have on hand a lot of great people. A lot of dignitaries in wrestling from Japan, England, South America, the Mid-East, all around the world who converge here to watch world-class championship wrestling at Reunion Arena. And of course, we're very happy to have with us Dr. Bill Sutker, members of his staff from Baylor Medical Center, where Dr. Sutker attended to the critically ill Mike Von Erich and helped him pull through that most dangerous of times. And there's Dr. Sutker, right there.
Hey, what's your hair? What's your hair? Oh, shit. No!
Brian Adias holding that headlock on Jack Victory. Well, we're talking about Christmas, too, right here at Reunion Arena. Christmas is excitement. There's a holiday spectacular in the Christmas season, too. It's San Antonio. Ah, there's another great Texas city. City of great history. You might say a part of the birthplace of Texas. Good move by Jack Victory, and he's got Brian Adias in trouble right now, but close to the ropes, and Bronko Lubich will break him up, or try to. Brian Adias, by the way, has had, as you'll recall, a good deal of trouble with the grappler. He's having a good deal of trouble right now with Jack Victory choking him on there. Watch on this one. Ooh, that's tough. Falling knee into the back of Brian Adias just might do him in as Jack Victory seems at the moment to want to punish more than put away. Now he's punishing again with a choke. And sometimes that backfires. Play to win. And Jack Victory says, I got to show you what he did to me. A spinning inside step over toe hold. Ripping up the knee of Brian Adias. As Victor claims that it was Brian who tore up his knee, but that probably was already slightly damaged anyway. So Adias kicks him off in that chest. And Brian, while he's getting his wind back and his second win and his effort to come back now, is taking a breather. Meets Jack Victory and picks up the tempo. Adias. Nice tough collision, but they're both shaken up on that one. I thought Bryan was going to spin around and come back, but he looked like he caught his head against Jack Vickery's, and he is shaken now and down as the count goes on with Bronco Lewick. Both staggering about as they try to come to their feet and prepare for the continuation of this Texas heavyweight title match. Another part of the excitement of world-class championship wrestling. Bryan shaking again. Bryan groggy, trying to find a straight line to follow. Oh, Bryan and Diaz clothesline by Jack Vickery, and now tries to get a pin, but he gets to 2, and Diaz by instinct battles out of there. Jack Vickery with a reverse chinlock right now on Bryan Diaz. Vickery holds it on. The main event in this edition of World Class Championship Wrestling. Kerry and Kevin Von Erich against Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez. And that's going to be in the cage. That's our big main event. Jack Vickery hammering, slashing, pounding. And now Diaz comes boiling off the ropes with a big right hand. Vickery into the attack again, and this time he misses. Oh, he just slid past that big post. Oh, that would have been the end of Mr. Vickery. Now it's Diaz coming back as Vickery is shaken. Diaz out to protect his Texas Heavyweight Championship. Oh, what a fly. Diaz taking charge here now and trying to put Jack Vickery away. A flying drop kick. Going for that toe hold again. Inside. Spinning it, turning it, twisting it, and Vickery is at the ropes. Jack Vickery immediately headed for the ropes. He knew he didn't want another one of those knee problems. There's a field goal attempt by Jack Vickery, and Bryan Diaz is the man that takes the shot. Oh, Vickery takes command again. Down on top, 1, 2, but Diaz battles out. Up and in, flying body slam. Diaz heading for the ropes. All the way to the top. Vickery coming up. Look out, a flying body slam again. 1, 2, 3, and Diaz defends his Texas Heavyweight Championship. Bryan Diaz defends successfully his Texas title. Here's Mark Lawrence with the information.
Still your Texas Heavyweight Champion, Bryan Diaz.
The loser, Jack Vickery. And so, Bryan Diaz, champion still. And we'll be back with more excitement. The cage match of Casey and Tatum next on World Class Championship Wrestling. And here we are in Reunion Arena. This is the first of our 2 cage matches. And this one is a Texas death match. In the ring right now, Hollywood John Tatum right there from Florida. And his lovely assistant, Missy Hyatt. She is the socialite. And here comes the adversaries. Miss Sunshine, the face. And Scott Casey, the cowboy. And all of them are right here in the steel cage. A Texas death match, falls don't count. And the match continues until one man is physically unable to stop his opponent from leaving the cage ring. Now let's go to Mark Lawrence.
World-class main event, ladies and gentlemen, inside a steel cage. No time limit. Falls do not count. In this Texas death match, the bout continues until one man is physically unable to stop his opponent from leaving the cage ring. First in front of me, from Florida, 263 pounds, welcome to Reunion Arena, Hollywood, John Tatum. At his side, of course, the lovely socialite from the great Southwest, Missy Hyatt. His opponent to my left from Bulverde, Texas, 235 pounds, Cowboy Scott Casey. And at his side, the lovely Sunshine. The girls are inside the cage. Your referee is Rick Hazard.
Well, this one just demands your attention. Just demands it. Missy and Sunshine in the ring. And that could explode at any moment. They've already had explosions. And one thing we found out, and we knew Miss Sunshine was a tough grappler, a battler. Missy is just a rough and tumble gal too. She'll battle. She'll get in a fight. And I would imagine that in this one, Sunshine and Missy will probably also be in there. Sunshine ready to start right now. John Tatum gesturing over his way. Missy kind of doing a little gesturing as the referee Rick Hazard comes over his way. Texas death match. As Mark Lawrence pointed out, falls don't count. The match continues into one man. He's physically unable to stop his opponent from leaving the cage ring. So the gate is hooked. Scott Casey with a last-second discussion with Sunshine. Missy over in the corner to our right, talking to John Tatum. And we're ready to go with this battle, which has been building and building into a great grudge match. Cowboy Scott Casey in the black trunks from Bulverde, Texas. That's just up around San Antonio. And Hollywood John Tatum from Florida. And there's the face. Well, Missy and Sunshine continue their verbal battle all the way across the ring. But Big John Tatum and Casey go after it right now to get this one underway. Oh, there's a shot. Tatum, and immediately the cage is used, ramming Mr. Casey's head into that steel cage. And Sunshine is a bit angry. Big John Tatum, 265 pounds. Strong, rough, tough, able. Well, Scott Casey getting off to a slow start here as John Tatum puts the pressure on him. Sunshine backed up in that corner. And she has no defense against somebody. Oh, there's a defense. So Scott Casey's big foot. And a forearm smash to Tatum. And Casey's off and running. Casey trying to get out the door, but he didn't get there in time. Oh, once again, Scott Casey hammered into that steel cage. Now, Scott Casey started out the door. Had he gone out the door, he would have won the match. Look out. And Tatum's trying to get out of the cage, and Casey pulls him back. Casey got to him just before Tatum got out of there. Well, there's a hammer into the cage. And John Tatum just about lost his trunks trying to get out of there. Oh, look out. Pile driver. Boom. Oh, what a pile driver. Now Casey might be able to make it out. Casey, though, caught by Tatum. So what Casey had in mind, waving to Missy in the corner. We'll see what happens next as Casey wheels off and is kneed into the midsection. Well, big John Tatum has the advantage right now. The holiday season is with us. Tatum going to try to get out there again. And now Scott puts Tatum in the corner. And Missy looks like she's a bit irritated by the presence of both of them. Missy at times gives you the impression that she really doesn't care unless John wins. And there's a knee, a shoulder drop. Missy seems totally distracted when John Tatum's in trouble. He's not real supportive at times, it would appear. But Tatum has been winning. Therefore, she is supportive. Right now, she's not. And Casey is headed for the door. But he didn't get out. There's a battle here trying to get out the cage door. Sunshine urging Casey on. And the crowd picks up the cheerleading of Miss Sunshine. So Tatum now has Scott Casey in trouble. Reverse chin lock over in his corner, and Missy holds the leg. Rick Hasler doing a bit of warning. And Missy starts into the ring, or Sunshine does. Right now, though, Tatum is more concerned about the fact he's choking the daylights out of him. Sunshine bashed from behind by Missy. And Rick Hazard stops Sunshine's approach. In the meantime, Scott Casey's taking all the punishment. John Tatum from Florida having himself a gay old time here right now as he heads for the exit. Thinking he's won it, but he hasn't. Scott Casey's got him back. Oh, great elbow drop by Scott Casey. Don't forget Christmas reunion. That's right. It's always a reunion at Christmas, and there's a big one right here at Reunion Arena in downtown Dallas. Another great event, another annual event. As John Tatum hits the deck and Casey heads for the exit. Not too quickly, though. Tatum's got his socks and his boots. He'll pull his boot off right now. He can get out of here. Not quite. Casey's not out. Tatum's holding him. Wrangling right at the door here, trying to get out the steel cage. Now they're both trying to get out, and Tatum has to be stopped by Casey. Casey trying to get out. Now they just whack away. Oh, Casey really leveling John Tatum. And Scott Casey still trying to get out the door. The one that gets out, that's not stopped, that's the winner in this Texas death match. The steel cage. A battering ram is Mr. Casey into that steel cage. And yeah, elbow drop into the neck of Scott Casey. So remember Christmas at Reunion Arena. And a lot of tremendous matches. This looks like a sleep hole put on by Tatum. He's got Casey wrapped up, and the crowd picks up the chant. Casey in trouble right now. Missy watching the action, but Casey breaks it, driving Tatum into the corner buckle. Casey breaks that one, and Tatum is in trouble now. Yes, at Christmas time, it's going to be Rick Rude defending his American title. The one-man gang chained to Bruiser Brody. Going to try a pile driver. Tatum turns it around. Casey had Tatum upside down. Now Tatum's going to the top rope. He's going to climb over the top. He's going to climb out of the ring, out of the cage. But Scott Casey won't let him. Well, that won't win anything going over the top. Here's the bulldog. Oh, Scott Casey slipped off. Landed in the corner buckle and trying to bulldog John Tatum, and Tatum is shaken up. Both men groggy right now, and Tatum's headed for the exit, but the wrong one. I don't know where Tatum thinks he's going. All the way to the floor. Here comes Scott Casey. Missy upsets Casey by shoving the ring ropes. And now Tatum is headed outside. Tatum slides out. Sunshine has Missy. Sunshine has Missy. And those two are going after it. And Tatum and Sunshine all over Missy. Bagging away. Here comes John Tatum back, and Missy and Sunshine having a glorious battle on the mat. Tatum is so shaken up, he's just trying to get back in the ring. Sunshine and Missy are having at it, and Rick Hazard is trying to separate them. Sunshine and Rick Hazard. And here is Kabuki. Kabuki. The great Kabuki in the ring. Kabuki drops Scott Casey. John Tatum is getting Missy out. Kabuki. Where did he come from? Sunshine caught by Kabuki now. Kabuki has made an entrance. I thought he was in Japan. And now he drops Sunshine out of the ring. Kabuki was supposed to be Casey's opponent, but they got in a match in Mississippi. Well, let's watch this right now. Kabuki and Scott Casey battling now as the bout is over. Everyone said Kabuki had left the country some time ago and gone back to the Orient, was in Japan. But right now, he and Scott Casey are having at it. John Tatum was the first man to get out of the ring through the cage door. So he is the winner. Missy and Sunshine got into a battle, and now bodies are lying around the ring. That's Rick Hazard, who was knocked down, and Scott Casey is being obliterated by Kabuki now. Scott's head is bleeding. And the great Kabuki. Here comes John Mantell in. And he is met and chopped. And here comes David Peterson. And he is stopped. And now Brian Adias. And everybody coming in to try to get Kabuki out of the ring. And a battle royal going on in the center of the ring. Well, it looks like they've got him now. They've tied him up. We'll be back with the main event on World Class Championship Wrestling. The main event next week on World Class Championship Wrestling will be the American title match between Kerry Von Erich, the challenger, and the American champion, Rick Rude. Smashingly beautiful Rick Rude. The American title match, Kerry Von Erich and Rick Rude next week, our main event here on World Class Championship Wrestling. And as you see, the cage is still up, and we'll be back with our main event, Kerry Von Erich and Kevin Von Erich against Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez, next on World Class Championship Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, world-class main event inside a steel cage for the held-up American Tag Team title. Special referees for this event, Brian Adias substituting for the injured Iceman King Parsons, his special referee assistant, Terry Gordy. The belts are held up. I will introduce first the dynamic duo from Highland Park, 240 pounds, a handsome half-breed, Gino Hernandez. The other half of the duo from England, 235 pounds, gentleman, Chris Adams. Their opponents, first from Denton County, 233 pounds, high-flying Kevin Von Erich. His teammate is his brother from the world's most famous wrestling family, Denton County, 260. Welcome the modern-day warrior, Kerry Von Erich. Gordon Adias in the ring, David Manning outside the steel cage.
Well, Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams were complaining about Brian Adias being a second referee. And I suppose, well, here's David Manning.
Anything goes until there's a 1, 2, 3 in this match, no matter who pins who.
Well, you see Gino Hernandez giving David Manning plenty of trouble. They're not in real good sympathy with David. So Terry Gordy and Brian Adias are the referees. And the crowd picks up the Baldy chant. So we're ready to go with this interesting battle. This one has carried on for a long, long time. Gary Von Erich, Kevin Von Erich, Chris Adams, Gino Hernandez. These have been long-standing feuds and rivalries, culminating in this cage match at Reunion Arena. By the way, I was mentioning that you'll recall the preceding bout when Casey was attacked by the great Kabuki, and that came about at the Cotton Bowl. Scott Casey came in to help Kabuki. Whoa, here we go. Well, Kabuki later on and Casey were to have a match here, but they got into such a violent encounter in Mississippi that Kabuki left the country. That was what we were concerned, that suddenly he was supposed to be in Japan, and here he showed up in Dallas. So that turned into a wild one. And this is a wild one right now as everybody's on the move. Kerry Von Erich and Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams. Kerry has Chris, I think. It's kind of hard to tell which one is which with those identical outfits they have on. Kevin working on the mask now of his man. I think that's Gino that Kevin Von Erich has, and Terry Gordy breaks him up and says, don't take the mask off. Meanwhile, over here, Kerry Von Erich is battling out Gino Hernandez, it appears. Chris Adams now. You can sometimes tell by expressions which don't change even with a mask. Whoa, Kevin smashed up into this cage right in front of me. And that's Gino with Kevin Von Erich, who already looks like he's sustained a slight cut in this collision with the cage. And Kerry smashed into the cage. And Terry Gordy and Brian Adias have had little to do so far because this is a wild bout with four guys in the ring. Everybody's going to be having at it. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Everybody's having a shot. Kerry ducking his man. And that looks like Chris Adams there once again. Through the ropes. And now Gino's got Kevin in trouble. And then Kevin turns it around. And Kerry's working on the mask on the other side of the ring. Terry Gordy interfering over there and pulling Kerry off. Chris Adams is talking. I think it's Chris. Yeah, that's Chris, I believe. Meanwhile, here's Kevin trying to take the mask off Gino Hernandez as Gino has a body scissors on Gino. Now, David Manning is yelling in that it is legal to take the mask off. For some reason, Gordy doesn't want him to do it. Oh, there goes a couple of bashes into the cage. I remember a cage match at Reunion sometime back when Gordy was involved, and Kerry Von Erich and everything. That had a great conflict. Now we've got, I believe it's Gino above me. I can't really tell from this angle, as Kevin is trying to take the mask off and Gordy's trying to stop him. For some reason, Gordy doesn't like the idea of the mask coming on. Kerry just flipped into the side of the ring, and Brian Aeneas and Terry Gordy are having a discussion. Well, this is the wild one as everything is full blast right now, and there goes Kevin down. And Gino, I think, is over there working with Kevin. Kerry and Chris are all wrapped up with each other. Chris Adams had Kerry pretty well wrapped up, couldn't get a referee to help out. Now Kevin and Kerry are both after one of them, and Gino comes back. Terry Gordy is more insistent about the mask not being taken off than getting over to count somebody. Kevin Von Erich is over working on his iron claw. Count of two, and Gordy does put the count. But Kerry Von Erich got out of there. And Terry Gordy getting a little pushy in there now. Here's an abdominal stretch. Kerry with the abdominal stretch. I think that's Chris Adams. Meanwhile, Kevin has Gino Hernandez all wrapped up in the ring over there in the ropes. And Gordy and Aeneas are having an argument now. And there goes Brian Aeneas down. Terry Gordy slapping Brian Aeneas about. And here comes David Manning in the ring, and Gordy and Kerry are into it. It was here that Gordy and Kerry had a great conflagration. And now Terry Gordy says, oh, and he kicks the door open again. Reminiscent of the other time he slammed the door shut on Kerry's head. David Manning has run off Terry Gordy. So it looks like Terry will be gone, and David Manning is sending Brian Aeneas out. Meanwhile, the battle goes on. Kerry has the iron claw on his man. 1, 2, and Kevin gets away from, well, I can't really tell who it is right at the moment. These masks and accoutrements are all just alike. I think Kevin has Chris Adams. We'll check it out here soon. We can identify someone. As Kerry goes to battle. Kevin crossing over to attack, and out Kevin and Chris Adams. There goes Kerry on a suplex. Gino flying out and missing. Now Kevin and Kerry will pick this one up. And a double drop kick. That was Gino. Now they've got Chris. And they're going to work on the mask. Kevin and Kerry holding Chris Adams. Kerry working on the mask. Gino just took a look there. Gino's put something in his mask. And there's Chris Adams unmasked. It's got a little shot there of Gino Hernandez putting something in his mask. Chris Adams is unmasked. Whatever it is, now Kerry's down. 1, 2, 3, and Gino Hernandez and Chris Adams win the American Tag Team title. As we said, Gino put something in his mask and then gave Kerry a headbutt. Well, Chris lost his mask, but Chris and Gino won the American Tag Team Championship. And here's Mark Lawrence.
The Dynamic Duo have won the bout.
Lance Von Erich is out here on the floor now with Chris Adams. And Lance is holding the door shut. Lance came out to do battle with Chris Adams. Lance held the door shut, and now Kerry and Kevin are working on Gino. Meanwhile, Lance is keeping Chris Adams at bay. Kevin and Kerry taking the mask off Gino Hernandez, and there is the unmasked Gino. But Chris Adams and Gino Hernandez have won the American Tag Team Championship as Lance Von Erich protected his cousin so that they could take the mask off. And we'll be back with more on World Class Championship Wrestling. A little note before we go: when Casey and Sunshine, Missy and Tatum meet again on Christmas night and the girls are tagged in, they're going to wrestle. Next week on World Class Championship Wrestling, Rick Rude and Kerry Von Erich for the American title. So long, everybody.